Kind of appropriate, actually. I mean, the elk, right? Can you ask for a better symbol of masculinity than the elk? You know, people think of masculinity as aggressive. It's not necessarily aggressive. An elk isn't going to come tear you out of your tent like a bear, or, you know, attack you while you're going by like a lion or a jaguar, or, you know, something that people might look to more typically to be a symbol of masculinity. Really, I think the deer, the elk with the big horns, right? It's dangerous. You don't mess with it. It's strong. It's noble. It's peaceful. But you will get the horns if you try to mess with it. Harrison Smith sitting in for Owen Schroyer. Today, it is the 2nd of July, the year 2020. Jesse Lee Peterson will be joining me momentarily. We're going to be talking about some of the racial conflict being fomented, and created here in the United States for the benefit of the socialists and a bunch of weak people. Very excited to talk to him, but let's look at some of the goings on here in this fight against white history. We'll go to clip number 9. This is just how absurd this has become, and we can just play this as B-roll. They have burned an elk statue in Portland. Yes, that's right. That elk was probably a white supremacist, right? That elk, this animal, this statue of a creature must go up in flames, must be torn down, because I guess it's a symbol of God knows what. Kind of appropriate, actually. I mean, the elk, right? Can you ask for a better symbol of masculinity than the elk? You know, people think of masculinity as aggressive. It's not necessarily aggressive. An elk isn't going to come tear you out of your tent like a bear, or, you know, attack you while you're going by like a lion or a jaguar, or, you know, something that people might look to more typically to be a symbol of masculinity. Really, I think the deer, the elk with the big horns, right? It's dangerous. You don't mess with it. It's strong. It's noble. It's peaceful. But you will get the horns if you try to mess with it. It will protect its brood. It will defend itself if necessary. But hey, you leave it alone, and it's not bothering anybody. But this is where we are. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they burned it down. Maybe because it's a symbol of true masculinity. I don't know. Maybe they're just dumb and want to burn statues. That's also a possibility. Maybe they're just burning all the statues no matter what. Maybe that's also true. Maybe they're just dumb. But if we want to, you know, imply some sort of symbolic significance to this, it actually kind of works, because what they're destroying is the natural order. What they're destroying is masculinity. What they're destroying is the strength that allows people not to be abused, not to be co-opted, not to be controlled, not to be dominated. Not the masculinity they tried to portray as being something aggressive and mean and hateful. That's not masculinity. We know that. We'll talk to Jesse Lee Peterson about that. There's one expert, there's one authority on the internet right now about masculinity and about what it means to be a man. He will be joining me in just a few minutes, but that's one video. Here's another video. This one is from friend of the show, Ethan Ralph. This is the Confederate legend Stonewall Jackson's statue being taken down in Richmond, Virginia. Let's roll that tape. You hear the cheering of the rabid crowd, the nonsensical noise-making of these losers who have achieved nothing, celebrating the capitulation by weak city leaders as they take down the statue of a great man carved by genius artists on a perfectly laid ballast of concrete, the likes of which nobody in this crowd has the skill to recreate. A man who lived a life none of these people are worthy of even appreciating. Yet here they are, standing in the rain, celebrating their fabricated victory, rejoicing in their unreality. Of course, white men in hard hats doing the work. Nothing to see here. According to Ethan Ralph, the contingent of white women was well overrepresented there as the statue came down, as they celebrated. Folks, what would it have looked like if the fall of Rome had had cell phone cameras? I think we're getting a pretty good image of it right here. The barbarians are at the gate.